Sriman, 10 minutes. The students are coming from lunch. We'll start as soon as they come.
Okay, madam.
And there, Dr. Chandana has passed on all the videos to Dr. Manjusri. She will be sharing, including Shanta Madam's video.
Okay, madam.
So you stay here.
Okay, madam.
Okay.
I hope it is not quite online.
This is being recorded live. Whoever comes forward has the courage to speak in front of a crowd will be seen on the YouTube live by the UNICEF team and the national team. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Dr. Sailaja. And the treasurer of Vijayawada Gynecological Society. Actually recently I have been transferred to Vijayanagar. And so far we have conducted this program in 30 schools, so I thought why not in 4 cities. These students should also benefit from this program. This program was the dream of Dr. Shanta Kumari, who is the first Telugu president of the Federation of Gynecological Societies of India. We are 36,000 plus gynecologists all over India in this federation, and she also is the treasurer for the International Federation of Gynecologists. She has worked hard since the last 6 to 7 years to bring this program to the ground level to the students and teachers. This is called Dheera program. First, let us all listen to Dr. Shanta Kumari speaking to you. Right. Simon, can you please catch the video? Simon, can you hear me?
That's what I.
Yeah, can you please play Shanta Kumari's video, please?
Dear friends, Foxians, and the women of my country, I am Dr. Shanta Kumari, President of the Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecological Societies of India. As a doctor and a woman myself, I have observed very closely how prevalent violence against women is across the strata of our society and the enormous impact it has on the health of our women. My theme for the year as the President Foxy is Foxy for all always, and Dheera, stop violence against women.
Dr. Shanta Kumari, who has relentlessly campaigned for the issues of girl child. I was happy to be the ambassador of Foxy Figure Ox in 2030, and I hope that me being an ambassador has motivated a lot of girls and many families.
Violence against women is a serious human rights violation, leading to injury and sometimes even death. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 women experience some sort of physical and sexual violence during their lifetime. Violence in pregnancy is also widely prevalent, leading to unwanted pregnancies, unsafe abortions, neglected pregnancies with no antenatal care, all these contributing to maternal morbidity and near miss. As obstetricians and gynecologists, we have a great opportunity to assess and support women who experience violence because of the unique opportunity where we get to see them during the pregnancy, during the family planning visits, during their annual checkups, and multiple other times when they come to us. I strongly believe that by eliminating the violence against women, we are not only reaching the SDG goals, but also creates a just and equal society for our women. Until we make men and boys active partners, we can never end the violence against women. In an endeavor to sensitize our own fraternity, my initiative of Dheera was started to eliminate violence against women.
I completely support her vision and mission as President Foxy, and also especially support her campaign, Dheera, Stop Violence Against Women.
It was in 2016 at the launch of Dheera. We brought together the police, the obstetrician gynecologists, the National Commission for Women, the women and men on one single platform to wear orange and say no to violence against women. We organized the public forum and cyclothon to launch Dheera. In 2017 at the Foxy Figo Congress, we partnered with men and organized the bikeathon and the flash mob. The high point of Dheera was at the International Figo Congress at Rio, Brazil in 2018. The declaration on no to violence against women was signed with Figo and WHO. It was here global societies pledged their support to end this violence against women. The Dheera campaign and march at the World Congress of Figo in Rio in 2018 got wide international publicity. No change is possible unless the young minds adopt it and make it a part of their life. Young minds are open and creative. They accept change. Foxy has always worked with adolescents for their health and well-being. Dheera this year adds a new page. I'm happy to share with you all that we are launching the Dheera online school certification course across the length and breadth of our country in all the schools. Foxy for all always. Dheera, stop violence against women.
That was Dr. Shantakumari speaking to you. Today, to tell you what exactly is this violence against women, what are the types, how do we manage it, what is the role of a bystander, what is gender divide and peer pressure. Three gynecologists have come to you, and come to you and two doctors are online there. Dr. Padmaja, IVF specialist at Vijayawada, and Dr. Sirisha, who is at Mayur, 70 kilometers from Vijayawada. Because of this digital era, all three of us are together to speak to you today. First, Dr. Padmaja will be handling what is violence against women and what are the types of violence against women. Please listen to her carefully. Padmaja, madam, you share?
Yes, please. I'll do that.
Yeah, you can start.
Good afternoon, children. I hope you can see my screen. Selja, is the screen video and audio okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. You've just you've just heard Dr. Shanta, our president, talking about Dheera.
1 second. Can you please minimize the gallery?
Is this okay?
Oh, madam, if you minimize the gallery, the entire screen will be visible.
I've minimized it, Alja.
Yeah, madam, I'll do it here. Okay. Go ahead, madam.
Okay. So
Go ahead, madam.
Today's meeting, we are going to be discussing about what is Dheera, what is violence against women, what are the types of violence, and what we expect you to be able to do as bystanders. How do we bridge the gender gap, and how do you cope up with your peers and the pressures that you are going through? If all your attendance is done and your names are given in the feedback form, you will all get a certificate from UNICEF. So Dheera means being courageous. So it is the power of being together. And that is what we want, all of us together, to fight against this violence that is happening, especially against women. As Fawad Al-Kabaro said, it's not that every man will practice violence, but women all over the world live with that threat of violence every single day. And this is not happening only in our country. It is happening all over the world, in all countries. Why is that there? Although we recognize it is a human rights violation, because this harms the women's physical, economic, and psychological well-being in the short term and long term, preventing them from being a full and active participant in the society. And because if half the society is not working towards progress, then it will have a huge impact on the society. And you've all been through COVID. COVID has exacerbated these differences and increased the violence. What happened in COVID is women and men were forced to be in a small space with the entire enormous amount of tension. Not only could they not go out physically, they did not have any outlet for their energies. Not only that, quite a large number of people either had to compromise on their jobs or lost their jobs. So that frustration and anger and this economic uncertainty have led to an enormous increase in violence, especially at home and domestic violence. Sometimes you see women are being threatened, they're scolded either at school, in the neighborhood, or being beaten. So do you think that is right? And what should that behavior be called? Is there a word to describe it? This is what we are trying to increase the awareness. Basically, it is called violence against women, and it is widespread. There are no boundaries of culture, and no progress can happen unless we stop this violence. If you have a look at this picture, you can see a woman and a man dancing. It looks like a very good picture. But what happens inside the home is sometimes some women are being forced to live in fear. It can be a mental, it can be sexual, it can be physical. Why does this happen? It happens because there is a gender bias, there's a gender stereotyping. Our societies, most of them are patriarchal societies. That means it is the man in the house who decides how the entire family should run. And sometimes the abnormal behavior of these men who think they are all powerful, that male sexism leads to toxic masculinity. So if you can see, what do we mean by gender bias? It is when there is a considerable preference for male and their role, their economics, their word is being considered superior, pushing down the girls, in fact, considering girls as a burden. Not some parents are not willing to bear a girl child, and there is determination of the sex of the baby being done inside the uterus and killing of that baby, or neglecting the female health issues leading to death. So all these are gender bias, and in a society or a government where men hold the entire power and exclude women from the decision making is what is patriarchy. Assigning roles, telling that women should be at home, they should look after the children, they should cook, where men are allowed to go out, work, do a job, and be the bread earner. Encouraging boys to be competitive, strategic, aggressive, while telling girls that you should be tolerant, sympathetic, you are dependent on us. So this type of assigning roles just because there is a gender is gender stereotyping. Whenever there is prejudice, when there is a typical discrimination against women, against girls, giving a lot of value to the man, that is sexism. Whenever a man says, I'm strong, I'm the boss, I'm the savior, I don't cry. So things like this, putting themselves on a pedestal, thinking the entire world balances on them, is toxic masculinity. But we need to recognize that mental health is as important physical health. And if there is a problem, it is okay to reach out. It is okay to admit that you're not perfect. And why is it that we doctors are talking about violence? It is because, as Dr. Shanta and Dr. Sailaja said, women doctors, gynecologists, are the point of contact quite a large number of times. We see women when they come in for health problems in pregnancy, after delivery, with their babies. So we can recognize changes in their lifestyle, and quite a large number of health problems are rooted in violence. And if there is violence, especially in pregnancy, there can have serious health issues. Why, Dheera? Because we felt that it was time that someone stood up for women. And who better to stand up for women than the doctors who look after women's health? And our president, Dr. Shantakumari, took up this campaign in a big way to sensitize, orient, and train all the gynecologists so that we can reach out to boys and girls in all schools across the country. And our campaign is to sensitize at least 5 lakh children and 15,000 plus teachers towards this. We want recognition even from women. Teach your boys to respect women in the behavior, in the house. How we work is very important, not just words, because children are watching, they're waiting, and they will listen. So what we want is to have a courageous voice together to say no violence against women. And we want 1 lakh tweets at the rate of Dheera together, and you to add your courageous voice to our conversation. So do give us feedback, and that will be very helpful in changing the tone and how else we can do and reach out to you all. Dr. Selja, if there are any doubts in this thing, they want any comments, they're welcome.
And we go on with the second one, we interact after the second one.
Okay, you want the second one, fine. So we were just talking about violence, and now we will go on to know what exactly do we mean by violence? What are the types of violence? So violence can be physical, it can be psychological, or it can be a combination. In physical violence, if you have seen the movie Chapak, it was made on the lifestyle of, it was made on the basis of events that happened in Miss Lakshmi Agarwal's life. She was only 15. There was a man who was behind her, who was much older than her, who said that he liked her and made romantic advances. But Lakshmi rejected that, and he threw acid on her in 2005, and unfortunately she suffered multiple burns. So her lifestyle, what happened, how the change happened, how she fought it, and how she could come out of it is what is very inspiring, and she is a motivational speaker. So assault, threat for assault is sometimes used as a blackmail. And if we don't want such things to happen in our country at all. So if there is an attempt, or if someone tells, or you have a suspicion that they're threatening you, make sure that you report to an adult or police, stay away from that person, always travel with others, and you can report to the police, because under section 326 BIPC, imprisonment up to 7 years is up to 5 years is there. It can be extended up to 7 years if there is no behavioral change in the culprit. And if unfortunately there's an attack, you see someone happening to someone, make sure that go to the doctor as soon as possible, report to an adult, and report to the authorities, because imprisonment up to 10 years, if necessary for life, will be imposed very seriously on perpetrators, and the entire medical bill will be met by the perpetrator. If you've heard of honor killing, it is like in India, we do have a system where different classes of people say we belong to different castes. Ideally, that should not be there, because all of us are Indians, all of us belong to this nation. But unfortunately, this caste system has been rooted for ages. So sometimes when an adult is there, they're more than 18 years, they've decided to, they like someone and decide to marry and live their life together. in some communities, because of these caste differences, they feel that marrying someone from another caste is a slur on our family name, and murder of that individual, either by a member or an outsider, to protect this family's reputation, is what is called honor killing. The other forms of female violence is gender-based crime called femicide. It can be killing of the newborn child, killing of the baby in the tummy, and it's more prevalent in our communities of Asia, where a male child is preferred. Sexual assault is when a woman is forcibly touched without her consent. Remember that this leads to long-term trauma. So if you see anything like this happening, stop it, call for help. And we have Nirbhaya Act, Section 375 IPC, and we have a POCSO Act for protection of minors. So all these are punishable up to 5 years. So what we need you is to raise your voice. If someone is subjected to violence like this, and they are survivors, so most importantly is the person who, we are not to blame, you're not to blame. So don't shame yourself. If something like this happens, it is immediate. Write down what happened, inform the police, don't be afraid to speak up, and don't wash yourself with shame and throw away the clothes. Take them with you for evidence. And in a timely manner, if evidence is gathered, these laws are there to protect, and the culprit will be punished. Remember that the abuser is bound to repeat actions. So if you're not on this alone, and we believe you, and we know it is not your fault. Sometimes violence can be psychological. It does not always need to be physical. It can be financial manipulation. Take this example. Ananya and Raja are married. Both of them work. But as soon as Ananya's salary comes, Raj takes it away, and he gives her a very limited amount of money, telling that you can live only in this. The rest of it, I'm going to decide how to manage. And even Raj's parents don't like her working. So when things like this, resources are withheld, access to money is not there, employment or attendance to school is forbidden, making them financially dependent, attempting to do that is financial manipulation. Emotional abuse is something that leaves a mark on the heart and the soul. Physically, they might be looking okay, but calling out names, damaging the relationship with children, not letting the partner see family, undermining the woman's self-worth by constantly making them feel guilty, saying that nothing we do or say is good enough, blaming them for things that go wrong, being jealous whenever they talk to someone else, overreacting to small things. All these are signs of emotional abuse. Bullying can be by continuous harassment, either verbal or physical. It can be either, it can also take the form of cyberbullying and ragging. For example, Neil asked Ria, who is his junior, to come out with him. She rejected it. But because he feels embarrassed and to bandage his pride, he starts a rumor that Ria's character is very bad. He harasses her every day, calls her fat and ugly, throws eggs at her house, calls his friends who pour water on her homework, and all of them are together teasing her whenever they see her. So it is not right to do this. So we should be able to help Ria. And when things like this happen, don't stand by and let a single girl be abused. If you're together with her, if you're supporting her, the abuse will not happen. Reporting it to the higher authorities will make sure that she is helped. Now with increasing COVID, everyone is studying on cells, on computers, on laptop. The same time, even cyber bullying and all have increased. It can be in the form of exclusion. That means all your friends are in a group, but they make sure that you're not in that group. Sometimes they continuously gossip, destroying the person's reputation, impersonating that person on the groups of like WhatsApp and in this network, or sometimes stalking, creating for fake profiles. All these can are forms of cyberbullying, and women are more likely to be victims of bullying. If that happens, get in contact with the platform's anti-bullying policy, talk to their customer service representatives, make sure to collect screenshots and block that place from where it is coming, report all the bullying that's happening. We can file a complaint with the cyber investigation cell. It is there in every city. If we are not able to have this cyber cell, you can have talk to the SHE teams and you can lodge an FIR. In Andhra Pradesh, we have the Disha app, so you can talk to the police. Today we were talking to a lady police and she was telling they get almost 50 to 100 calls every day. So they are responsive. We just need to ask them. So stalking is when a woman is being followed by an individual and who repeatedly tries to contact her without her consent. It can occur digitally. If you have on your phone a location app, so the other person is following you, they know where you are at any point of time. So if things like this can happen, it is not a simple thing and it can lead to serious consequences later. For this, we have a section 354D IPC, where the culprit is liable to not only fine 1 to 3 years imprisonment. So make sure that if someone is following your routine, taking pictures and doing things that you are not comfortable with without your consent, do report. The other thing is voyeurism, watching or taking pictures of women without consent, sharing it has also a section to protect us with the culprit going in, being imprisonment for 1 to 3 years the first conviction and 3 to 7 years later. If you watched, a movie was also made on this to create awareness called Drishyam. Eve teasing is making obscene comments, unwanted remarks, sexual advances to insult a woman in a public place. So even this, if someone is behaving badly and it is reported and they're caught, they will be punished. So we can have different sections depending upon the severity for 3 months or up to 3 years. If someone is threatening our life, that is called criminal intimidation, threatening to cause death or grievous injury or even our property. This also carries imprisonment and fine or both. Sexual harassment is something that is very, very common, underreported and prevalent in almost all communities. So unwelcome advances, talking pornography, showing bad pictures. So all these, if we report them, up to 3 years imprisonment will be there. For example, a farmer, because of unseasonal rain, lost his crop. To make his ends meet, he takes a loan, but he's unable to pay that loan. So his daughter, who is educated, says, I will work in that office because you would to pay up the loan to help her father. But taking advantage of it, her boss harasses her. So events like this do happen. And what we want is to speak up and tell so that actions can be taken, because the law is there to protect you. A combination of this is mostly in domestic violence, because emotional, financial, physical violence between a married couple, any pattern of behavior is domestic violence. It is underreported because many of the victims don't even realize they're being abused, because it's very difficult to think that a trusted partner, someone who's my husband, who I thought my own, can be so manipulative. Even harassment from in-laws using intimidation, emotional abuse, isolation, using the children, telling that if you don't do this, we will not let you come to your children. Using economic abuse, using the male privilege, trying to have all the power and control, form domestic violence. Usually there is a cycle of abuse. That means there's a violence going on. If the woman protests, then they say, okay, we are very sorry. And after a little while, and it repeats. So this sort of cycle, unless there is a change in the character, it will not happen. And either physical, sexual, verbal, or economic abuse can be reported under the Domestic Violence Act, which came into India. It was enacted in 2005. It grants immediate protection and punishes the abuser with imprisonment up to 3 years. So with so many types of violence happening, so many laws there to protect women, one step at a time, if we move forward, we can end this violence against women. So that is the reason we want everyone to be courageous and say no to violence. Let's tweet together and add your voice to us, so that this scourge of the society, this humiliating thing, is no longer there in the future. Thank you very much for listening. Selja, you're muted.
Thank you for taking care of this topic and enlightening these students in spite of your busy schedule. We have heard Madam tell you what different ways, not only women. It's unfortunate that today small kids, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, even boys are being sexually assaulted. How fearful it is for parents to wait at their home until the child comes back from school thinking, will my child come back home safely today? Hope nothing happens to my child. So unlucky of us, no, to be living in a society where, because of 10% people who are behaving like this, we are living in fear. It's not because of those 10% who are the perpetrators of these violent acts. So it is because the other 90% are not fighting against it, not speaking up against it. I'll tell you one thing, unless you speak up against what you see, what you witness, or what you go through, this abuser will continue his acts of violence, and tomorrow you might be a victim if you don't try to stop it when it is happening to somebody else. Please understand, this is a vital issue in our body. Every one of us have a right to live without any fear. Next, I'm going to handle the topic of how do we manage if we witness something like this happening, or unfortunately we face an abuser. What do we have to do? Yeah, ma'am, this is my yes, so to enter the session, she's attending to speak. So thank you very much, madam. One second, children, I'm trying to share my. We are not as good at digital aspects as you people are, because the last 2 years, because of the COVID pandemic, all of you have to attend online classes, and you have become very good at handling digital equipment. We got used to it only recently. I got used to a computer after I joined my MBA. I am going to handle how do we manage violence against any person. Why exactly these violent acts are happening in our society? Where are the roots of this? Many factors are there which contribute to these violent acts against women or anybody in fact. It could be addiction to alcohol, superiority complex of the person thinking that he is right in every aspect, lack of compassion on his part, or maybe troubled childhood. The way a child is brought up decides what type of person he becomes. That is the reason we have come to you, because you are the future citizens of our country. There may be anger issues, stress factors, is letting out that stress on different people, gender bias, and social discrimination. This mindset is nurtured since childhood based on the way a child is brought up, as I told you. What you should do if you know someone is being abused. First and foremost, don't be afraid. Listen to the victim's story and please do not blame the victim. Reassure them so that they remain brave and believe what they are saying. Don't say, you unless you go through that incident, you will not understand what the victim is going through in her mind. So don't blame her. Just keep an eye on the situation to make sure that it is not getting dangerous for you. Because the golden rule is check your safety first before you act. Your safety is of utmost importance. Ask what their immediate plans are, what the victim is planning to do. Report to a higher authority. It could be anyone you trust. Your sister, parents, teachers, police. Respect whatever decision the victim takes. Don't try to give any advice. Whatever they decide is based on what they have faced in life. Have resources to keep conversation going. We have seen children who have faced such unfortunate acts go into depression. Keep talking to your friend. Make sure she is feeling that you are there by her side to support her. Be careful that whatever action you take does not harm you or the victim further. What if you are being abused? Recognize the toxic behavior and leave the vicinity of the abuser. Go away from the abuser. Don't do anything which will worsen the situation, which will provoke him to go further. Report the incident immediately, if possible. Gather evidence by taking photographs or recording the incident. Suppose you have to go outside. There are many situations where you need to go outside alone. Keep the safety kit with you. Something like a pepper spray. And let someone you trust know of the abuse. Do not keep it to yourself. Do please share it with somebody. And please speak out. Do not let the abuser rock your voice. Your voice is very, very important. And believe me, the abuser is scared of your voice. Once you speak out, he will not have the guts to go further. Your words have a lot of power, and speaking is the first step to end violence against women. Our national coordinator, Dr. Delegate says, the common language of many women in India is, anybody? Common language of any woman in India is silence. Most of them do not speak out. That is the reason these abusers are going ahead. Please do not let another generation of victims down. Unless you have the courage to speak, the next generation will not come forward to speak. Give the victim a platform to speak. Believe the victim. Do not blame the victim and stand up for justice. Don't let people forget that once someone commits abuse, if you do not speak up, they are prone to doing it again and again. We have all used so many digital gadgets in the last 2 years. Download and familiarize yourself with the safety apps. The phone numbers, emergency phone numbers, and safety apps are a must in your phone. Recently, the Dheera app was brought out by our government. There are a lot of such apps. Share your live location with somebody you trust. If you have to board a vehicle, an auto, a taxi, or alone, take pictures of the driver and the license plate, and he will not have courage to touch you. In case of emergency, activate the location and the safety app. Look at this. This is the universal distress signal. This has been popularized through Facebook, Twitter, and all those apps. If the person is not in a position to communicate verbally, help by speaking. Just put your thumb up, close your thumb, and grab the thumb. Keep grabbing the thumb. All of you together, show me the universal distress signal. Yes. That is the universal distress signal which communicates that I am in trouble, please help. If you see the distress signal, check with the safety of the person who is showing it, find out what they need, find out what you can do to help, and if you think the situation is dangerous for yourself, call the helpline numbers we are showing you. We are not expecting you to remember all the IPC codes or the numbers I am showing. I will be giving this PowerPoint presentation here to your school administration. It can be done any number of times. Just see that you save these numbers in your phone. All India Helpline Women number 1091, Domestic Helpline number 181, and the easiest to remember, Child Abuse 1098. 1098 is the child helpline number. And how do we report? Report the incident immediately to your elders, to the police. Record the statement within 24 hours. Go to a hospital before you change your clothes or wash yourself to get checked up. Record the statement for the magistrate, and a special court will complete the trial within 1 year. Our girls are strong, aren't they? Yes. Let us all keep the girls that way. And let us all go back, read in our Twitter accounts, hashtag Dheera together, and add our courageous voices to the target which has been reached long ago. We started this program in January, and we are still counting the teachers and students we are talking to. Anybody who can come forward and tell me, show me in front of the crowd what is the universal distress signal. I don't want a crowd answer. Yes, come forward. Stay will be visible.
Go back.
It's not visible on the screen. My name is Shimei. I'm going to get you. The universal distress is first we have to show our thumb, then we have to hold our thumb and just do like this. Excellent. What is the first step you should take once you see somebody abusing someone? Anyone who can come forward? The first thing you should do when you see somebody abusing a person. Come.
We should support them and release them. My name is from we support them whatever the case. And we should always make sure their safety and ours.
Excellent. And the wonderful God, the first thing you should do is speak up. Have the courage to speak up. Speak to the victim. Give her support. Believe her. Don't blame her. Don't say, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Dr. Sirisha, you're going ahead with the next one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Madam, can you share the slides, please?
Yeah, sure. Can you see the screen, Sirisha?
No, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Good afternoon, children. I'm Dr. Sirisha. Today we are going to discuss about role of active bystanders. First of all, what are the ma'am? Hello. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Go ahead.
Next slide, ma'am. Role of active bystanders. First of all, మనం తెలుసుకోవాల్సింది ఫస్ట్ యాక్టివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్ అంటే ఎవరు? An individual who observes an act of violence, discrimination, or other problematic behavior, but are not its direct perpetrator. అంటే మనకి ఏదైనా బయట ఏదైనా గొడవ గాని, ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం గాని, ఏదైనా అబ్నార్మల్ బిహేవియర్ గాని, అక్కడ ఎవరైనా ఇబ్బంది పడుతున్నట్టు గాని అనిపించినప్పుడు డైరెక్ట్ గా వాళ్ళు కారణం కాకుండా మనకి సపోర్ట్ చేస్తూ, మనం తెలిసినా తెలియకపోయినా మన వెంటే ఉండి మనల్ని ఆ ఇబ్బంది నుంచి బయటపడేసే వాళ్ళే యాక్టివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్. ఇందులో రెండు రకాలు. యాక్టివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్ అంటే హూ స్టాండ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్, హూ స్పీక్ అబౌట్ ఇట్, హూ యాక్ట్ అబౌట్ ఇట్. ఎప్పుడు ఎలా యాక్షన్ తీసుకోవాలి, ఆ వైలెన్స్ ని ఎలా స్టాప్ చేయాలి అనేవాళ్ళు యాక్టివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్. ప్యాసివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్ అంటే హెల్ప్ చేయకపోగా సోషల్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ తో, ఆడియన్స్ ఇన్హిబిషన్స్ తో, ఫియర్ ఆఫ్ రిటాలిటేషన్ తో మనల్ని ఏదో ఒక రకంగా ఇబ్బంది పెట్టడానికి తప్పితే హెల్ప్ చేయడానికి ఉపయోగపడని వాళ్ళు ప్యాసివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్. మనం తెలుసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే ఎప్పుడైనా కానీ యాక్టివ్ గా మనం వాళ్ళ పక్కన ఉండి స్టాండ్ చేసి యాక్ట్ చేయాలి. వీటికి రిమెంబర్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సింది అందరూ 5 Ds. ద వెపన్స్ ఆఫ్ యాక్టివ్ బైస్టాండర్స్ ఆర్ 5 Ds. ఫస్ట్ D ఈస్ డిస్ట్రాక్ట్. అంటే ఏదైనా సిచ్యువేషన్ ని ఫస్ట్ డిస్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలి, అప్పుడు ఆ ఇన్సిడెంట్ యొక్క తీవ్రత అనేది తగ్గుతుంది. ఇట్స్ ఎ సబుల్ అండ్ సేఫ్ వే టు ఇంటర్వీన్. ద మెయిన్ ఎయిమ్ ఈస్ టు ఇంటరప్ట్ అండ్ డిరైల్ ద ఇన్సిడెంట్ అండ్ ప్రెటెండ్ టు బి అ లాస్ట్. అక్కడ ఏదైనా గొడవ జరుగుతున్నప్పుడు అక్కడ నుంచి మనం పక్కకు తప్పుకోవటం కానీ, ఆ గొడవని మధ్యలో ఇంటర్ఫియర్ అయి సద్దు మంచడం కానీ, ప్రశాంతంగా ఉండడానికి కానీ ఎటువంటి ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ అయితే ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ చేస్తాయో అవన్నీ మనం చేయగలగాలి. ఆస్క్ ఫర్ ఎ టైమ్ or address of a place. Pretend you know the person is being harassed. ఎవరైనా తెలియని వ్యక్తి అయితే మనం కలగజేసుకొని వెళ్ళి ఇతను నాకు తెలిసిన అతనో, లేకపోతే ఏమన్నా ప్రాబ్లం అన్నానో, లేదంటే 108 కి ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయటము, పోలీసులకు కానీ, పేరెంట్స్ కి కానీ, రిలేటివ్స్ కానీ, అక్కడ తెలిసిన వాళ్ళకి ఎవరికైనా ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయటం వల్ల ఆ గొడవ యొక్క తీవ్రత అనేది కాస్త వరకు తగ్గుతుంది. ఎనీథింగ్ టాక్ సంథింగ్ ఇర్రెలెవెంట్ అండ్ టేక్ ద అటెన్షన్ ఆఫ్ ద harasser. So the first D you have to remember is distract that incident. And the second thing is delay. Delaying can reduce the severity. Ask the victim if she is okay or not, and offer a accompany to her destination or sit with her for a వైల్ తనకు కనీసం తోడుగా ఉండటం, వాళ్ళ ఇల్లు ఎక్కడ కానీ లేదా నియర్ బై డెస్టినేషన్ ఎక్కడని కానీ మనం కొంచెం కనుక ఎమోషనల్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ గాని ఇవ్వగలిగితే మనం కొంతవరకు దాన్ని డిలే చేయగలుగుతాం. అండ్ ద థర్డ్ డి ఈస్ డెలిగేట్. Delegation is when you ask for the assistance for a resource or for the help from a third party if near a shop like a shopkeeper. అక్కడ దగ్గరలో ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళని హెల్ప్ తీసుకోవటం కానీ థర్డ్ పర్సన్ ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ అన్నమాట. If on a bus, ask for a co-passenger, bus conductor to intervene. If you are in a school, contact a teacher for a help. That is a third party assistance is called as an delegate. So the third D is delegate. And the fourth one is document. First, assess the situation. Is anyone helping the person being harassed? If not, use one of the other Ds like direct kani, delay kani, documentation kani, like a delegate kani. If someone else is already helping out, assess your own safety. వాళ్ళకి హెల్ప్ చేయటం ఒకటే కాకుండా మన సేఫ్టీ అనేది కూడా we have to assess. Only if you are safe, then only go ahead and start recording. మన పర్సనల్ సేఫ్టీ చూసుకుంటూ అదర్ హెల్ప్ చేస్తూ we have to document. For the documentation purpose, we can start recording or taking any evidence of the incident have to be recorded. Always ask the person who is going to help you or harass that wanted to be with the recording. So first assess the situation and never post it online. Using an image or footage of a person being victimized without the person's consent may make the person feel even more depressed. ఇలా ఆన్లైన్ లో మనం ఇది చేయటం వల్ల, వైరల్ చేయటం వల్ల ఆ పేషెంట్ ఇంకా డిప్రెస్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంటాయి. సో ఆ డాక్యుమెంటేషన్ అనేది కేవలం ప్రూఫ్ కోసము, లీగల్ గా యాక్షన్ తీసుకోవడం కోసం మాత్రమే వాటిని యూజ్ చేయాలి. And can lead to a level of visibility that a person may not want. And publicizing the another person's traumatic experience is no way to be an effective bystander. Just only 5 Ds మాత్రమే మనం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. And the 5th D is an direct. Directly respond to the harassment by naming what is happening or confronting the harasser. This can be risky. The harasser may redirect their abuse towards you. It may escalate the situation, but you should be very clear, confident, and should be very cautious. So the children, you have to remember this 5 Ds: delay, documentation, direct, and delegate. So these 5 Ds can be, you have to remember for anything abnormal or any violence act or any abusive thing is going on, we can protect that victim from these 5 Ds. So the golden rule: only intervene if it is safe for you to do so. If not safe, call the police or a child helpline number. And the dial 100, everyone knows kadamma, police ki aithe 100 dial cheyali, 1098 కి కాల్ చేయాలి. More ways to get involved or organize the actions like writing stories, posters. Like awareness కలిగించాలి అనుకుంటే మనం సోషల్ మీడియాలో పోస్టర్స్, దీని గురించి రకరకాల స్టోరీస్ కానీ పోస్టర్స్ కానీ ఇండైరెక్ట్ గా అవేర్నెస్ అనేది క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఒకవేళ ఎవరైనా చేస్తుంటే we have to appreciate the someone practicing the bystander intervention. If you know someone is organization it, working for it, donate your time and ideas. మనకి చేతనైతే హెల్ప్ చేయాలి, లేదా ఐడియాస్ ఇవ్వాలి, లేదా we have to practice that active bystander things. And the wrong things to say is, why did she go at night? Why did she park her scooter there? Why did she go alone? Why did she call her sister instead of 100? ఇలాంటి నెగిటివ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ చేసే మాటలు ఏవి మాట్లాడకూడదు. మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు కదా హైదరాబాద్ లో జరిగిన ఇన్సిడెంట్, దానికి ఎగ్జాంపులే ఇదన్నమాట. సో నెగిటివ్ కమెంట్స్ ఏవి చేయకూడదు. వీలైతే మనం హెల్ప్ చేయగలగాలి, సపోర్ట్ చేయగలగాలి, మోరల్ అష్యూరెన్స్ ఇవ్వగలగాలి. సో బీ కరేజియస్ టుగెదర్, సీ నో టు ద వైలెన్స్ అగైన్స్ట్ ఉమెన్. సో we are Dheera together, let's tweet together, building a voice. Our target is an 1 lakh students. Thank you, students.
That was a lucid description of the 5 Ds available to our studies. And every time girls are coming forward, will you go ahead and tell me what are the 5 Ds? Boys are not brave, not courageous. I thought boys were more courageous than girls. come forward. He had the courage to come forward and please appreciate it.
My name is Jasper from 9th grade. Sorry to speak Telugu.
Explain ఏమంటే మాత్రం అది కూడా తెలుగులో ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయాలి. నాకేం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. We are all Telugu speaking people. అంటే
ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం జరిగినప్పుడు కానీ అది యూట్యూబ్ లో పోస్ట్ చేయడం కానీ కడితే ఒక హెరాస్మెంట్ గా తయారు అది ఒక అంటే రాంగ్ రైట్ గా తయారు కాబట్టి ఒక అంటే మన యొక్క రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ మైనర్స్ కానీ ఉమెన్స్ కానీ హెల్ప్ చేయడం ఏదైనా వాళ్ళకి టైం డొనేట్ చేయడం కానీ అలాంటి అది మన రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ. సో మన రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ నిలబెట్టుకోవడానికి ఫైట్ చేసేది.
వెరీ గుడ్, వెరీ గుడ్.
Anybody who can tell me what is the first thing? I told you 5 things which are the weapons of an active bystander. ఈ ముందు లేకపోతే అమ్మాయిని తీసుకుని ఇలాగే పెట్టుకుంటారు. You know everybody here, your classmates, your friends, your teachers. Come on.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Krishnosi. Now we got awareness about violence against women by Dheera organization. First is distract. If anyone is harassed, what is that? You should first go near them without fear, and you should add something we are related to them, so the person who is harassing them will get some fear and cannot do further action. So we can say it like that. Thank you.
That is one weapon of the bystander. They fighting jail, at the confront jail. They just try to distract and take the victim away from the scene of the act. Yes, just second thing you will tell me. The second thing is delay. Whenever something is happening, whatever the thinking says, we need to divert that and we need to declare what she is. So that she will not be discussed. Thank you. Creativity of the emotional impact that incident had on the victim by talking to her, making her sing, accompanying her home, and above all, before you document any evidence of such acts, photo, video, mundu, make sure somebody is helping her. Not like these journalists who just take pictures and videos, don't try to help the victim. That is wrong. Make sure somebody is helping them. Then try to document the evidence, collect evidence of the act, and directly confront the abuser only if there is no other way to stop the incident, and only if you think it is safe for you. We are not asking you, alpha males saga. That is not the way. That is the last resort. First try to distract or delayed or delegate. Amount chestunte, that document evidence which will be useful in future to catch the victim. And there is no other way. Let me confront, but be cautious and do it if you are confident. The next topic is bridging gender divide. Before I go on to that, what is voyeurism? We told you in the types of violence against women. What is voyeurism? Remember what is voyeurism? No. Voyeurism is taking pictures of somebody without taking their consent or permission. Yes, another picture. One more movie. Yes, the boy is coming forward by interest.
ఒక అమ్మాయి ఇప్పుడు మీడియా వల్ల కోర్టు వల్ల మన న్యూస్ లో వస్తున్నాయి ఇలా నవ్వడానికి విషయం లేదు. దీనివల్ల చాలా మంది చనిపోయి ఆత్మహత్య చేసుకున్న కూడా ఉన్నారు. అది దాని గురించి చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నాను. ఇదే పరిస్థితి ఏమైనా ఇప్పుడు మనం చాలా చూస్తాం నవ్వడానికి లేదు ఇదే చెప్తాను. అయితే ఇప్పుడు మన మీడియాలో మీకు అన్నింటిలో చూస్తున్నాం. మీరు జరిగింది అది జరిగింది కోర్టు దగ్గర వీడియోలు ఇవన్నీ చేస్తాం. ఇవన్నీ మనం ఇంత వెయిట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఎంతమంది దొరుకుతుందో ఆలోచన ఎంతమంది రోజుకి ఎన్ని జరుగుతాయి చెప్తే ఎవరికైనా 100 సంఖ్యలో జరుగుతాయి. రోజుకి 4 జరుగుతుంది. అయితే ఇప్పుడు మన మీడియాలో జరుగుతుంది కదా చూపిస్తున్నారు. అది ప్రతిసారి చూసిన తర్వాత ప్రతి అమ్మాయి దానికి జరిగింది కదా అక్కడే అమ్మాయి చూసి అంతా బాధపడి ఎవరైనా ఆలోచించామా ఇంకా కోర్టు దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ఒకేసారి ఒకే క్వశ్చన్ చేశారు అమ్మాయి మైండ్లో ఏమవుతుంది ఏమవుతుంది. నేను ఒకటి కథ చదివాను. అది కథలో కాకుండా ఒకసారి వినండి. ఒక జర్నలిస్ట్ అతను ఒకసారి బీచ్ సైడ్ వెళ్తుంటే ఒక అమ్మాయి కావాలి ఆవిడ రేపు చేయబడుతుంది. అయితే ఆయన హెల్ప్ చేసి ఆవిడ చేసి పెట్టింటారు. తర్వాత 2 సంవత్సరాల పాటు జరిగిన తర్వాత ఆవిడకి ఎవరికైనా వచ్చింది. అడిగినప్పుడు ఆవిడ ఒక క్లాస్ అడిగింది. మెజిస్ట్రేట్ గారు నేను ఒకటి చెప్పండి సార్. ఓకే చెప్పండి అని మెజిస్ట్రేట్ గారు అంటే సార్ మీరు అమ్మాయిని ఇంత బతిగా మీరు అడిగినప్పుడు ఇది సీక్రెట్ గా మీరు ఎందుకు నడిపించారో అడిగారు. ఇది కరెక్టే కదా. ఒక అమ్మాయి ఎంత ఆయిల్ ఒక మీడియాలో అదే వేసి తను ఆ టైంలో ఎంత పెట్టి ఎంత భయపడి దానికి ఏమై ఉండదు ఆలోచన అది మన చేతులు లేకపోవచ్చు. కానీ మనం దాని గురించి బాధపడమే కాదు. అది అమ్మాయికి మనం సపోర్ట్ ఎలా ఇవ్వాలంటే ఇప్పుడు కోర్ట్స్ చాలా జరుగుతాయి. ఇప్పుడు 1 సంవత్సరం పట్టింది. ఒక నెల్లూరులోనే అప్పుడు నేను సంవత్సరం ఉంటుంది. ఒక నెల్లూరులో ఒక అమ్మాయి ఎవరంటే అది ఏ రోజు నాకు గుర్తులేదు. ఒకటి వచ్చి పొడిచారు. అది సంవత్సరం జరిగింది. అది దాని యొక్క జడ్జిమెంట్ అనేది సంవత్సరం టైం అయిందని దిశాత్మకం ఇవన్నీ కాదు. అనుకష్టంగా ఈ కోర్స్ ఉన్నాయి. కానీ ఎందుకు ఉన్నాయి? ఇవి న్యాయం జరిపించే ప్రాసెస్ లో ఎంతో మంది వాళ్ళు మర్చిపోవాలనుకున్నా మర్చిపోలేదు. ఈ మీడియా కోర్స్ ఇక్కడ మనం అనుకున్నది ఒక మీడియా కోర్స్ కోర్స్ అన్నా మనం ఈ సొసైటీ కోర్స్ అనేది సొసైటీని జడ్జి చేసేది, ఇంకా మనం కంట్రోల్ చేసేది. దాంతో పాటు ఇప్పుడు చెప్పగలమా మీడియా బాబు ఎలా ఉంది ఇప్పుడు అమ్మాయిని అవన్నీ 2 ఉంటావు. ఇక్కడ ఒకవైపు సొసైటీకి ఇక్కడ కోర్స్ మీడియాది ఇంకా మనది. ఇక చెప్పండి ఇక్కడ మనం అబ్బాయిలకి తక్కువనే అని చెప్తున్నాం. నా పాయింట్ ఏంటంటే మనం ఇప్పుడు ఇన్నిసార్లు ఒక కోర్టులకి ఒక అమ్మాయికి ఇంత
మీకు అందరికీ తెలియని విషయం, రేప్ విక్టిమ్ ని పబ్లిక్ ముందు కోర్టుకి పిలిపించరు. రేప్ కేస్ కోర్ట్ occurs under closed doors. Except the victim, abuser, the two lawyers, nobody is allowed inside. That's what you are asking me. నేను చెప్పాలనుకున్నది ఏంటంటే కోర్టు ఒకటే కాదు, బయటకు వచ్చిన తర్వాత సొసైటీ కూడా అమ్మాయి విక్టిమైజ్ చేస్తాది. పదే పదే ఎలా జరిగింది, ఏం జరిగింది అని అడిగి బాధపడతాను. దట్ ఇస్ నాట్ ద వే టు సపోర్ట్ హర్ అని అమ్మాయి చెప్తుంది. Yes. Yeah. The next topic I will be handling is bridging gender divide. మీకు రోజు చూసినప్పుడు మీ కళ్ళ ముందే జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది, but you don't realize how we are discriminating against women. ఈ పేరు చూడండి, శివ అభయ మ్యామ్, కశిష్ ఆశ అభయ మ్యామ్, వాళ్ళ అబ్బాయి అంటే అమ్మాయి అంటారు. Yeah, it can be the name of a boy and a girl also. My previous classmate who is a girl, her name is Harsha, and we also had a boy called Harsha. So మన చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి బ్రెయిన్ పడిపోయింది కదా, ఈ పేరంటే అబ్బాయి, ఈ పేరంటే అమ్మాయి. ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ నేను స్కూల్లో ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు మీరు ఎవరెవరు అటెండ్ అయ్యారో నాకు ఎక్సెల్ షీట్ అడుగుతాం, దాని పక్కన కాలం వేస్తాం, మేల్ ఆర్ ఫీమేల్. అది అయిపోతే పేరు చూసి ఒకసారి చెప్పగలుగుతున్నాం, ఒకసారి చెప్పగలగట్లేదు అబ్బాయి అమ్మాయి అని. దట్ ఈస్ వే షుడ్ బి. ఎందుకు ఫిక్స్ చేయాలి ఈ పేరు అమ్మాయికే పెట్టాలి, ఈ పేరు అబ్బాయికే పెట్టాలి అని? షుడ్ నాట్ బి లైక్ దట్ కదా. And look at these character traits. Aggressive ఎవరు? In generations, we have been told that boys should be aggressive, ambitious, competitive, independent, and girls should be submissive, emotional, gentle. It's not like that. Boys also can express their emotions. There's nothing wrong for a boy to cry and express his emotions. And girls can also be competitive, aggressive, and independent. This is the conditioning of gender stereotypes that we face in generations. They are so ingrained in our culture that becomes a habit. మీ ఇళ్లలో ఎంతమంది అబ్బాయిలు అమ్మకి హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు? Raise your hands. హ్యాండ్స్ రేస్ చేస్తారా? నాకు అడుగుతారు, సింగర్గా రేస్ చేయండి. నాకు అడుగుతారు, చేయకపోతే హెల్ప్ చేయాలి. What do you have? How many of you wash your clothes now? Wow. That's great. When I asked you how many of you help your mother, all of you raise your hands. When I asked how many of you wash dishes, only some of you raised. When I asked how many of you wash your clothes, only some of you raised. I really appreciate those boys who are doing those things at home. They understand how much their mother is going through. Have evolved main behavior since generations. అంటే అబ్బాయిలంటే ఏదోలా ఉండాలి, అమ్మాయి కాపాడేయాలి, అమ్మాయి జడ్జ్ చేయాలి. That is not true. And we parents have always been more likely to use physical punishment with boys than with girls. We have not physically punished girls. We tolerated violent behavior from boys. We did not tolerate violent behavior from girls. And when girls showed aggressive opinions, they were told that they are being bossy. They were not being appreciated but were having leadership qualities. This is what we want to change. Yes, gender violence is a social evil. Even in offices where they do equal work, women are being paid less wages. They are not being given equal chances. Unfortunately, today 30% reservation కల్పించారు ఆడవాళ్ళకి, కానీ 30% పర్మనెంట్ అయిపోవాలి. Even when I joined my MBBS, we were 150 students in our batch with only 50 girls, not one more. I would have loved it if there were 75 girls and 75 boys. Discrimination starts at a very young age. We got a more generations so we they never used to do household chores. They expected females to behave submissively. Women pregnant, they were expected to leave their work to raise kids. And today I proudly tell you in front of this huge gathering, my husband stays at home to take care of my kid when I am coming out to speak to who kids like you. And the pathetic అంటే మదర్ రూమ్ లో ఉండగా స్కాన్ చేయించి ఫీమేల్ బేబీ యొక్క డిసీజ్ చంపేస్తుంది. ఫీమేల్ బేబీస్ హోమ్ లోనే చంపేస్తే మనకి ఇందిరాగాంధీలు, మలాలా యూసుఫ్జీలు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తారు? Girls need to be given equal chance, right? And no woman is safe from sexual harassment like teasing and catcalling. Women have always been treated as goddesses, but the tiniest mistake on their part has been highlighted. They have been treated as unworthy of being respected. We don't want to be treated like goddesses, we just want to be treated like human beings. It's not a level playing field till now. Until 1920, even in a developed country like America, women were not given the right to vote. In fact, I came to know of this fact when I was reading my daughter's civics note textbook when I was teaching her for exams. That's very unfortunate. Women still don't have equal access to education. There are families who financially cannot afford the education of 2 children. The first child who will submit is a girl child. Women are not given equal opportunities at work, and when they speak out, one male's voice is worth more than many women. There is not enough representation even in our parliament, but we have been lucky enough that the female has been given a chance to be our Prime Minister, our President, our Governor, and our Chief Ministers also in our country. This is not the issue of only females. For all of us together, males and females, need to work together as allies to create a gender neutral, gender responsive and equal society. We must eliminate this gender inequality and bias. And this is for you boys. It's not enough not to commit violence only. You must be willing to take these 8 active steps to ensure that no other men commit such violence. I was telling you, share the care at home. Housewives, like they are called, actually they should be called homemakers. They take on thrice more unpaid care in domestic work than at home. In fact, I've seen working women who go home and do the domestic work also without any help from the males of the family. Women spend so much energy and emotional labor at home. మీలో ఆడపిల్లలు ఇంటికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ఎంతమంది బ్యాగ్ పక్కకి షూస్ పక్కకి సాక్స్ పక్కకి వేస్తారు that you should stop doing from today. That minimum you can help your mom. అమ్మ ఇంటి దగ్గర ఉంటుంది నేను స్కూల్కి వచ్చేసిన మళ్ళీ మేము వెళ్ళేది కదా అనిపిస్తుంది. One day, one whole day, try to keep your mom sitting, not going up from a place and try to do what she's doing yesterday. You'll get fed up with nothing. You'll understand how much she's going through. Appreciate those who help you unconditionally. Actually, ఇంటికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత మీరు హెల్ప్ చేయాలని ట్రై చేస్తే హ్యాపీగా ఫీల్ అవుతుందని మీరు హెల్ప్ చేయకపోతే అమ్మాయి అడగలేదు. Is that true? Yes. Respect the sacrifices being made for you. Offer to help wherever it is possible. And ఇంటి దగ్గర ఉంటే అన్ని చూసుకుంటా ఉంటే అమ్మ హాబీస్ ఏమంటావా అమ్మకి ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉండవా when she getting time to take care of her career or her hobbies. Even homemakers have hobbies. మీ మదర్స్ లో ఎంతమంది బిఫోర్ మ్యారేజ్ మంచి సింగర్స్ అయి ఉండొచ్చు, డాన్సర్స్ అయి ఉండొచ్చు, మ్యారేజ్ తర్వాత ఎంతమంది కంటిన్యూ చేశారు? Did they continue? One girl raised her hand telling me her mother was a singer before marriage. Yes. Did your mother continue after marriage? That tomorrow you will try to create a situation where your mother can go ahead with her hobby. She derives happiness from it. Hold yourself accountable. It is not correct to say boys will be boys. You should respect men and women equally. Be aware of your own behavior. Make sure you're open to criticism. Have the courage to accept your mistakes and change yourself when you understand that toxicity is there. Change these notions of traditional masculinity is always say man's not right. Man should be strong. Treat everyone the same way and allow yourself to break norms and challenges stereotypes. If somebody else is following those stereotypes, have the courage to question them. Don't excuse them simply for your friends, your colleagues, and not the alpha male. I want the sensible male to be fashionable. He's the hero today. Sensitive men will change the next generation. It's okay for men to cry, break down, be anxious, and express emotions. When someone is making you uncomfortable, just ask yourself whether what is wrong, whether it's on their part or my part. Examine your biases, but always try to understand the other person's circumstances. They are always different from yours. Do not judge or shame them for what they have chosen. You might not have chosen the same. If you were in the same circumstances, maybe you would have chosen the same. And this is very important. The concept of consent. How many of you have seen the movie Aziza? That movie was based on the concept of consent. Consent, right? That has been told to remember easily. Consent should be freely given, not under the influence of alcohol or drugs or under some pressure. It should be reversible. Okay? Tea కావాలని ఒప్పుకుంటే సినిమా కావాలని ఒప్పుకున్నట్టు కాదు. నవ్వితే నేను ఎక్కడికి పిలిస్తే అక్కడికి వస్తుంది అనుకోవడం కరెక్ట్ కాదు. Consent is for that specific act only. It should be informed, it should be enthusiastic, not under any pressure. It is specific for that act. How many of you understand it? Do you think it is correct to say hasi ko hasi? No, it's not correct. Here consent is the word, yes, nothing else. You You should not say she was asking for it. And boys will be boys is never acceptable. All of sexism and harassment, it's very unfortunate that all women experience sexual harassment at least once in their lifetime. How would you feel if your mother or your sister came out and told you about what they went through? You would feel so bad. Next time you won't behave that way. All women experience sexism once a week. All of such behavior, if you come across such behavior, be an active bystander. Do not excuse friends, relatives, or co-workers. Let's challenge gender stereotyping and break the shackles and counter arguments with facts. Believe survivors. Listen to them. Support them. Don't blame them. Just offer unconditional support. When we go and type in Google, women should. Even today it comes, women should stay at home, should not work, should be seen and not heard. I'm waiting for that day when this narrative changes and a gender neutral society comes into being. Look at this picture. When a woman can do so many things, she can as well come out, take care of her career, and be a very good administrator like your principal is right now. Okay. Yes, but boy wants to come forward and speak. Somebody is raising their hand.
Students, I know you want all this. We just want to take some clarity from all of you. What is this session about? Can someone raise your hand and give your opinion of what the session is about? Yes, please. The equality among the society. You all accept it? Yes. Boys, you have any other opinions to say what the session is about? Please stand up. Same thing, you have this community members. Stop violence against women is what we are talking about. Is it all about? Yes. Any others? No. Any other opinion? How to protect the survivors of the okay, how to protect women? Is that what we are talking about? Please.
Even boys go through sleep harassment as well.
Good point. Any other points you have grasped out of it? Because I just want to know it is not about, just about the sexuality we talk here, not about the rape, or not about the media, not about what is happening. But there is some stereotyping notions which have been deep back inside. How many of you guys have a Barbie doll as your toy in your childhood? How many boys have got Barbie doll as your toy in your childhood?
There's nothing to be ashamed about this. In fact, even today in America, they say girls have to wear pink and boys have to wear blue. This is not right. That's what we want to convey to you. There's nothing like boys should not wear pink and girls should not wear blue.
Your parents have inculcated few things in your mind without your concern, saying that if you are crying, hey, why are you crying? You should be a boy, you should not cry. And if you are playing with the kitchen appliances, in small, when you are small, some kitchen appliances will be there where the boy will be coffee or something. And you are playing like that, your mama or papa will is a girl toy. Isn't it manufactured only for girls? Then you think that this kitchen toy belongs to girls only, girls experience. There is nothing like that. Isn't it or not? Take your families, maybe in your families also this could be happening. Where it is like your mother could be more educated or she is not working at present. Wherever your father goes, she will be following it. I'm not talking specific about any one family, but this is a common thing happening in the world. If a lady has got a profession, if a lady has got a placement to work with, she has to just compromise on her profession and stay back at home and go along with her husband wherever he goes and works. That is the scenario. Yes or no? Yes. This all need to change. If they need to change, you are the one who's going to change all this. You are the one who is going to take up the society in tomorrow's future, right? So you are the one who has to bring up such kind of thoughts in your mind, and you are the one who has to behave appropriately for the girls and the mothers in your life. So make sure you all bring up this kind of changes in your mindset. Stop commenting on what has happened. Stop commenting on what is going on. Stop discussing about what is being not properly done in the society. What you have to do today is what is your portion, how you are going to lead your life, how well you are going to support the women in your life, and how well you are going to take up the responsibility of bringing the change in the society. This is the only thing you have to think after the session. Don't discuss after the session about the rape that has happened. Don't discuss how irresponsible the media is. Don't discuss how the court system should change. Don't discuss how your society should change, because there is a popular saying that says that change should begin within yourself. Before you point out at someone, please just analyze yourself and make up that one change that you can bring for a new tomorrow. So that is the one thing I want you all to bring up to your minds after the session. I'll be accompanying the session, such a great session. Pleasure having you here. Thank you. We'll go on to our last session, that is dealing with peer pressure. Dr. Sesha, are you there? Okay, fine. I am going on the last session. Last topic of today, decoding peer pressure. How many of you know what is peer pressure? What is it?
Extreme pressure. Extreme pressure on oneself.
Extreme pressure on oneself because of what?
Because of LEDs.
Because of?
LEDs and whatever.
No, that is not what is peer pressure. I'll tell you what it is. Here, yes. Yes, somebody raise their hand and tell me what is peer pressure. Targeting somebody of the same age group. Can you elaborate? No, body shaming is not common. Simple example of peer pressure. ఈ పక్కన కూర్చున్న అబ్బాయి సిగరెట్ తాగుతున్నాడు. ఆఫర్ చేస్తాడు. మీరు తాగుతారా తాగరా అని డిసిషన్ తీసుకోవడం depends on how you react to peer pressure. That is what is peer pressure. How your friends, classmates, colleagues influence your behavior. So it can be any influence that peers have on each other to confirm the behaviors and personal habits of a group. And a group does cigarette తాగుతుంటే ఒక అబ్బాయి సిగరెట్ తాగకపోతే ఆ అబ్బాయిని అవుట్కాస్ట్ చేసేసి
సెపరేట్ చేసేసి మాతో కలవడానికి వీలు లేదు అని చెప్పడానికి that is negative peer pressure. There is even positive peer pressure. ఒక అబ్బాయికి టాప్ మార్క్స్ వచ్చిన క్లాస్ లో ఆ అబ్బాయి చూసి మిగతా వాళ్ళు అరే మనం కూడా మార్క్స్ తెచ్చుకోవాలంటే ఏం చేయాలి అని ఆలోచిస్తే that is positive peer pressure. Most of the time peer pressure is so subtle. అర్థం కాదు మనం ప్రెషర్ పడతాది, మనం ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ అవుతున్నాము, వాళ్ళ వల్ల మనం మారుతున్నాము, ఇది మంచి జరుగుతుంది చెడు జరుగుతుంది అని ఆలోచించే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈ ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ లో మీ బ్రెయిన్ ఉండదు. బట్ ఇట్ విల్ హ్యావ్ enormous effects. Can be spoken డైరెక్ట్ గా క్లాస్ కమ్ చేసి సినిమా పెడుతున్నాం వస్తావా, డైరెక్ట్లీ ఆస్కింగ్ యూ, కన్ఫ్రంటింగ్ యూ, yes or no మీరు అవుట్స్పోకెన్ గా చెప్పాలి. That is spoken way. Unspoken. అందరూ కాసేపు కూడా స్టార్ట్ కూర్చున్నారు, మిమ్మల్ని రమ్మని పిలవలేదు, మీరు బయటికి వెళ్ళాలా వద్దా మీకు ఉంటే that is unspoken pressure. Direct spot decision. సిగరెట్ అందులో చేస్తే తీసుకోవాలా వద్దా. Indirect pressure. గ్రూప్ అంతా కూర్చుని ఆ అబ్బాయి అలాగా ఈ అమ్మాయి ఇలాగా మాట్లాడుకుంటూ ఉంటే ఓ ఇదంతా బిహేవ్ చేస్తే నా గురించి కూడా మాట్లాడుకుంటారా అని ఫీల్ అవుతుంది. And as I told you, it could be either negative pressure or positive pressure, which is healthy and responsible. ఇక్కడ పిక్చర్ చూడండి, ఏమనిపిస్తుంది చూస్తే outwardly the guy is hugging the girl, but he is stabbing her behind her back. So how will you identify toxic environment? When your friends make you feel bad about yourself. Every single person among you is unique. Believe yourself. Feel age, ఆలోచించిన ఈ వరకు like that. Your friendship should be on your terms, not on the terms of the other person. When the other person's behavior makes you so unsure about yourself, you don't understand where you stand. And they are constantly gossiping even about people in that group that they are not present physically. That's bad, no? Either you have the guts to speak on somebody's face or don't speak and think it is. If you think what you're speaking is right, you should have the courage to speak on their face and tell them, look, this is wrong on your part, or this is right on your part. Not speaking behind their back. And when the effort to continue that friendship is one-sided, they don't respect your boundaries. In the exam, you have time to prepare, or that people and decide, you when they don't respect your decisions, your boundaries, and you feel pressure to do things which you really don't want to do. There is a competition to be popular. It become unpopular and that's where is toxic environment. You are terrified that one mistake of your part will make them leave you and then encourage your bad habits. How to avoid uncomfortable situations? First, avoid going out with strangers. Another friend you should be knowing that person well enough. You should know that how they behave, what type of person that person is to go going out with them. And make sure your family knows where you are. Let me tell you, wherever you want to go, inform your parents and go. If you are not able to inform your parents before you go somewhere, either you are doing something wrong or you don't have time to inform your parents. Take phone with you and respect others' boundaries and draw boundaries for yourself also. Do what you want. Listen to your inner self and be confident to say no to whatever you are uncomfortable with. Dial up number 100 if you feel a sense of danger. What type of girls are to be avoided? It's not only boys, particular types to be avoided. There are also some girls you should avoid. You should be avoiding girls who unmanly to cry. Girls who hit or slap their boyfriends, who are totally materialistic. They don't bother about the characteristics of a person, they bother only about money. They who call other girls by bad names, who don't respect your physical boundaries, who call you a girl thinking that it is an insult, and girls who don't think men can be victims of abuse and rape. These are the girls to be avoided. And boys who are against feminism, who are rude to their mothers. If you cannot respect your mother, how will you respect your forthcoming partner, who will be your wife in future, your sister? Boys who do not respect your physical boundaries, who pressure you to send nudes, who start fights and use bad language, who comment on a girl's appearance without her asking for an opinion. You have no right to comment on the appearance of any person unless they ask you. You have no right to express your opinion. And boys who make rape jokes, these are boys to be avoided. Learn to put yourself first in your life. You are the most important person, and set boundaries with which you are comfortable. And what do those boundaries sound like? I will end the phone call if you continue to shout at me. I need time to think about it. I'll come back to you later. Or I promise my mom that I will back home by this time, so I need to go. Don't force me to come with you. Your work time or your home time should be separate from each other. Tell them I don't respond to work emails at the weekend. That's my family time. I'm not comfortable with that. If you do it again, I'll have to leave. I respect your opinion, but this is my life and it is my decision. Most of you have been taught by your teachers what is good touch and bad touch. To reiterate that, the red areas are a simple no. Nobody has the right to touch your chest area, your genitals area. The only things which are green and allowed to be touched by anyone are the hands. Even those we are avoiding in this COVID pandemic, we will prefer simple namaste. And the yellow are to be touched only if you are comfortable with the other person and you give consent. And I told you before, the concept of consent. Never assume consent. It's a consent only if the other person says yes. Ask for it and respect their consent. No means no. Stop or turning away, going away from you, throwing you away, saying leave me alone. Leave. Hardwork masterki addale vedu anedi correct kaadu. It doesn't work out in life, Sima. So any no means no. Screaming, crying, being addicted to alcohol or drugs means no. Yes means one thing only. It is a consent which is given freely in an informed state, enthusiastically, without any pressure, and it should be reversible. It is specific for that act. Stand up to peer pressure. Don't say maybe if you want to say no. Say no properly. Leave the scene and let them see you later. Make up excuses or change the subject or suggest a better idea. Always listen to your gut instinct when you need to act. Look at this girl. She says, I'm never too young to respect women, and little girls are dreams and some women with vision. You are never too young to learn to respect women, and we are dreaming of a better future for our future generations. Who is Malala Yousafzai? 1%? Yes, come.
When educational rights in Pakistan, she was shot by Taliban for
Despite of 21 lives, she did not fight Stalking and she won the Nobel Prize for that. She said, I want every girl to know that her voice can change the world. And a sincere thank you to all those who helped us collaborate on this project, to take those points, to Dr. Santa Kumari, and most of all, a big thank you to all of you who gave me patience. I hope it was useful. I hope it brings change in the mindset of new people. I hope both boys and girls please understand it's not only females who are facing these acts of violence. Even small boys are being raped. Just think of your younger sister, younger brother, some cousin you're fond of, a small kid, before you come away from an act of violence, thinking that somebody else will help. Situation low. మీ cousin ఉండొచ్చు, మీ sister ఉండొచ్చు, మీ brother ఉండొచ్చు. రేపు పొద్దున్న conflict situation మీరే face చేయొచ్చు. Have the courage to speak up, face the situation, help the victim by the 5 Ds we have told you. And if something happens, have the courage to report. Once you speak up, abuser is not a brave person. In fact, is a coward. అలాంటి బిహేవియర్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ధైర్యస్తులు కాదు, వాళ్ళు భయపెట్టడం చాలా ఈజీ. మనం గొంతు తెలిస్తే వాళ్ళు ఆడిపోతారు. Just have the courage to speak up, and we thank you to Mrs. Dheera, your principal, who agreed for me to conduct this program in your school, and your teachers. Moving the downward from here and have everything so seamlessly. Thank you very much.
Sriman, we can leave.
Okay, madam.